Greetings, faculty of Life Pacific University. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for going through the newsletter. We've done the academic newsletter for the fall, and we are excited to have our first issue of 2021. I want to thank you for all the work you've done this past semester. Thank you, those who have been teaching our graduate programs, our online programs, those who've been working with our new online AA programs, and thank you to also in particular to those who have worked with our TUG students as we had to transition quickly to remote instruction and learn new technology and do education differently. So it's been a journey. It hasn't been the same for some of you, but I want to thank you, and I want to share with you Proverbs 3:5, which says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding." And as I share with faculty, with students, and with staff and leadership this year, that is the verse that God has put in my heart to share with you. That we would just trust in the Lord in the midst of everything we're going through, and just know that He's in control, and that we're just have to be faithful. We gotta trust in Him, and He's got this. So, thank you all. I do want to share something about what the things we're trying to do here, and one of those things is to celebrate you. So we are implementing new things and new elements, so that way we can celebrate you. And you're going to see in this newsletter the list of the top 8, what we call the top 8. Top 8, as we have assessed and evaluated the faculty, and we receive feedback from our students. We get the course evaluation results. We've decided this year to highlight those 8 top faculty with the highest score. So I want to just go quickly through the list. And number 1 with a 3.93, Dr. Dorothy Croft. Congratulations, good job. The highest score for course evals, and great feedback from students, enjoying your class. And thank you for all you do. And then we have number 2, Dr. Beverly Crane with a 3.9. Thank you for what you do. Number 3, Professor Robert Normandy with a 3.8. Number 4, Professor Kim So Young with a 3.87. And number 5th, Professor Carissa Haxworth with a 3.7. 3.78, and number 6, Professor Mark Dusick with a 3.76. Number 7, Professor Christine Mina with a 3.74, and number 8, Professor Evelyn Allen with a 3.74. So thank you very much. You've done a tremendous work this semester. And you've deserved it. You deserve the evaluation from the students, and how they appreciate what you do in the classroom. So all the classes are always evaluated at the end of the term, even online classes, graduate classes. I want to really encourage you to look at those questions, to look at the things that we are asking students as they rate the class, the content, the faculty, and see some of those areas that you might want to improve as a faculty. Part of our job and our roles as dedicated professors is to make sure we're doing things right, and make sure that we are blessing our students, that their students are enjoying the classes. And that doesn't mean that the class is going to be easy, because some of these classes that and professors that I mentioned, they have well-designed classes with great standards, and it still receive amazing course evals scores. So look at those, encourage your students to provide feedback, encourage your students at the end of the class, in the last few weeks of the class, you're teaching, encourage them to give positive feedback, and to those who may have negative feedback, to give negative feedback. But either or, both feedbacks are important, and we can take it and grow out of that. So just make sure you look at that and use it as a tool for improvement. And the second thing I want to share with you, which is very important, and you're receiving a document in this newsletter that talks about our what we call the LPU best practices for remote instruction. And this is mainly for the current context that we live in with the pandemic and our remote learning type of education, mainly for TUG students. But it could also apply to online students. So if you're an online faculty, don't disregard these. Just look at those and try to reflect on how can some of those be applied to your students and to the way you teach and your pedagogy. So some of the ideas of what we're trying to do is being reflective practitioners. So being able to reflect upon what we've done. So we just finished an entire semester of remote instruction, and we wanted to just get together with a task force, with a team of faculty, and reflect and survey data and from faculty and from students. So we gather a team of faculty, we gather data, and we were able to reflect upon that. And we came up with some best practices and recommendations for remote instruction. And the hope is that this framework would be helpful for you, that some way and somehow you could use it as a tool to help you in the class this semester or in the near future. So the first one, and this one is very particular to this season, is we think we came up as a team with the best practice of help students overcome Zoom fatigue. We as faculty, we have to help our students overcome Zoom fatigue. And one of the things that after a little bit of research and dialogue and looking at surveys and things, it's one of the things is for us as faculty to acknowledge and to want to learn about this new phenomenon that is affecting our students, and how there's people already writing about that. There's books coming out about that, and there's articles online. So how can we do some research, or us as faculty, as experts, as professors, and try to see what are some of those tools that we can use. What are some tips that we can give our students? What are some techniques that we can use to easy on the level of stress that Zoom fatigue could cause in a student? So some of the things that we came up with is being mindful of Zoom time during the semester. And this is in particular for remote instruction, for those faculty who are doing synchronous classes and are asking students to join the class for hours, week in and week out, which is what we want. But just being mindful and especially if you have a long class, like a 2.5 hour block class, make sure you plan ahead, and you plan breaks, and you plan activities and breakout activities where they are able to have a smoother transition into a class. One of the feedback that we got is sometimes it felt like more of a just lecturing, and there was very little engagement. So we want to make sure there's engaging classes, there's engaging activities in the class that would help with the Zoom, and it will help with Zoom fatigue to our students. So providing substitute activities during certain weeks, and even allow and plan for some weeks of break, and replacing that with another activity. Some faculty they just recorded a lecture, or they had another video for the students to watch that week to replace the seat time. So it's not that we're gonna give less. It's that we're gonna try to make it a little different, so that way the students don't feel the burden and the fatigue, as they have to not only take your class, but many of them are taking multiple classes. So if you focus on tools, number 3, focus on tools that could help them overcome fatigue. And we did some research, and there's a Harvard review article out there, and talks about the value of avoiding multitasking while in Zoom. And I've done that in the past, and sometimes I start working on things while I'm in a Zoom call, and then I lost track of what they're saying, and just working in here and working there, and trying to have my mind listening, and then thinking of those things and doing other things. That, according to them, that brings the fatigue, instead of just, okay, I'm in class, or I'm in this meeting, I'm going to focus, I'm going to pay attention, I'm going to take notes, I'm going to engage, and kind of like trying to not only say this is what we're going to do, but teach the students why that is important and why it's valuable for them to do it. And many of them will understand once you explain why. And then another tip was to reduce on-screen stimuli by setting up your Zoom to presenter view. So another thing that they were saying is that when we have all those little squares with students, that sometimes the students are looking at what other students are doing, and that kind of like it brings fatigue, because they're distracted and looking at other things. So the idea of just putting the Zoom in speaker mode, so that way they only see you if you're speaking, or if it's a student that is asking a question or having a conversation, or responding, it would be the student. So that way they can focus on one person and be able to limit the amount of stimuli in their mind. So the second one is help students by sharing clear and consistent expectations. So one of the things that came out of the reflection is that sometimes what we have in Moodle is different than what we have in the outline, and it's different than what we say in the class. So some of the students were sharing the value of having clear expectations, and having kind of like one set of instructions instead of multiple ones, with dates, with deadlines, and with everything that entails. Clear and early faculty communication of expectations. So take some time during the first class to explain what that class is all about, and what are some of the unique expectations for that class. And each class is different, each program is different, and each faculty is different. So there might be changes between some of those, and they need to know why, and they need to be communicated, those expectations, so that way they know. The other thing is the format, and the program have, as I said before, some unique requirements that you might want to communicate with them before. So the third best practice is help students by becoming proficient in organize in Moodle. So some universities use different learning management systems. We use Moodle. And our students, the feedback we got is that sometimes they really like when faculty have their Moodle organized. And the other feedback that we got is that some students and some faculty are lacking in the proficiency to use the Moodle and to be able to have something well done. So you as a faculty, as we move forward into the future, you want to grow in that regard, because more and more we're seeing the use of technology and the classroom for educational purposes. So even if you're more used to teaching tug, and you're like, no, once we go back to normal, I'm not gonna use that anymore. Just don't take it that way, and make sure you take this as an opportunity to learn this new technology and to use it, because I'm sure that we might continue to use more and more the technology and the LMS. So some of the things that we said is that in terms of the training, we have a training for students and we have a training for faculty, but we want to even increase that and promote it more and make sure that is available and that the students have access to those things, and the faculty. We are creating a set of workshops for faculty to continue to learn and grow. And we are making, one of the suggestions was to have office hours. So we are planning on having office hours from with our Moodle expert, just in case you want to just jump in and receive that support right away for Moodle. So the idea of having an organized and becoming proficient with Moodle, it's important. The value of having the weekly content, the course materials, and the Zoom and the class information, everything in one place. Because the truth is that now, as the students are off campus and they're not going to a classroom and they're not seeing us face to face, Zoom and Moodle is the place they go to for all things your class. So basically, whenever they have a question on your class, they can have access 24/7 to your Moodle wall. So that's what the first place they go. Even before sending an email or before sending a message, they go to your Moodle wall. So if your Moodle wall is well designed, many of the answers are going to be provided there. So having that well organized is going to help you at the end of the day. And then we have, if you look at the document, we have a sample Moodle organization for your wall. So kind of like what it would look like every week, at least the basic. And some of you that teach online, for this is very basic for you, but this is something that we want to do to help organize, especially those who maybe are not that used to using the technology for online learning or remote learning. So the structure that we have, the basic structure is make sure you have a welcome message, make sure you have the theme for the week, make sure you have your schedule and the course materials. There's a lot of information in the syllabus that you can use there too, and it would be a matter of copy and paste or writing it quickly. And then the Zoom link, it's important to have it there too if you can. Create the meeting and then just paste the Zoom link there, so that way all students know exactly where to go to join your synchronous meeting. And then of course the place for assignments and quizzes and all the other fun stuff for your class. Worksheets, how to turn in worksheets and different things. So it is important for us to focus on that. It came out of our reflection, and I think it's also important for students. And I want to quickly finish with recommendations, and we had two main topics for that, and it's engagement and communication. Engagement and communication. And the recommendation, which are more practical tools in the side of engagement, is to try to utilize as many different teaching exercises as possible, and to kind of like create that engagement and that learning process. One of the faculty shared that he started using one of the techniques from the book that we read during the summer, the 3-2-1 exercise, and he would start every class with a conversation using the 3-2-1 and talking about the previous class. So that was a great activity to engage the class even before getting started with the lecture, and also serves as a way of the whole class to kind of have a quick refresher and reminder of some of the topics you covered the previous week. So it's an excellent tool and for engagement. So engagement utilize as many teaching techniques, help students understand the value of participating in breakout rooms, and how that affects their learning. Explain to them why is having participating or having those breakout rooms important, and just let them know how important it is for them to grow and learn. And one of the tips that I could give you is, as they said, try to have groups or breakout rooms of 2. So that way it increases the amount of engagement, because sometimes when there's 5 or 6, some of the participants, they just don't engage, they don't talk, they just turn off their cameras maybe. So if you want full engagement, just groups of 2, and always have something for them to do when they come back. It's never just to go and have a break, unless you are planning for a break. But if not, if the breakout room it has a purpose, then you have to always have something for them to do when they come back. Either provide a report out, or do a presentation, or just share some points of their conversation. So that way they feel that little pressure of, we'll make sure let's do the work, so that way when we come back, we have something to say. And so that helps also with engagement, but I'll explain why it's important. And I think that many of the students are gonna understand the reason why you want them engaged in the class. Try to foster a distraction-free environment, emphasizing the need of engagement, which is, I just shared that, and make Zoom etiquette mandatory. Make sure cameras on, focus on lecture, activity, or presentation, and engagement. So just, and it's not just a rule, but explain why that is important, and explain why full focus and attention is going to help them learn the content and grow as leaders. And I think, as I said before, many will understand if you explain it that way. And then on the side of communication, make sure you communicate as often as needed. Email asynchronous students, send messages to your students. A lot of faculty don't know that when you have a forum, like a prayer or comments or questions forum, that you can add easily to your weekly Moodle wall. When you type a message there, it'll automatically send an email to all your students. So instead of emailing each individually, you write a message in Moodle, and Moodle will send a message to your students. And if they reply, then Moodle will send an email to you, which is amazing. So it is a great tool for communication using Moodle. If you need help with that, you can always reach out. Check in terms of communication. Check in the breakout rooms. I know it's a lot of work sometimes to go in and out and in and out, but that is also a tool of communication. You go, you talk to them, even if you repeat the same things over and over in all the groups, but you're going to have a close connection to that group, and they're going to feel that the faculty is there and it's communicating, and you're explaining maybe and asking if they understood what they had to do and things like that. We're almost done. Encourage all students to submit work through the learning management system. The reason why is because the learning management system gives you a timestamp. You can use the grading feature there and grade automatically on Moodle, so that way you don't get confused with all the classes that you might be teaching. You have all your students, and when they send all the homework to you, you can actually download the entire class homework in one folder to your desktop, if you want to grade them one by one on your own time. You can actually go there and download it and then upload as you want. So it has great tools. It is a great way to keep all the homework organized, their grading organized. So I encourage you to ask the student, and as the faculty recommended that, to ask the student to use Moodle for communication and for the homework. And communicate technology requisites and needs as a priority for school. So those were the best practices and recommendations for remote instructions. And I want to thank the task force, the academic task force. We met multiple times. We had reflective activities, and we came out with some of these. And special thanks to Dr. Walls, Dr. Felix Yeager, Dr. Samples, Gail and Terry, Professor Deb Baker, Professor Mark Ducey, Professor Mark Swartz, and thank you all for being part of that task force and meeting and helping create these tools to support you as faculty and as we grow and help our students learn the content and the things that we want them to learn. So that's all. Blessings this semester. Remember, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. So I don't know what you have been going through this season. I'm sure you also went through a difficult time. Just know that we are praying for you. I myself take this very seriously. I pray for the faculty. I pray for the students. We really want you to feel appreciated and supported, and know that there's a team here that is praying for you. So blessings this semester. Go through the newsletter, use the material, share with your friends. Any questions, you can always email academics@lifepacific.edu if you want to talk to me or Denise or anyone in the team. You can always use academics@lifepacific.edu. We appreciate your work and service to the Lord. We thank you for your investment in our students. We commit, as I said, to pray for you. We want to support you, and we thank you for this partnership as we bless our students and really develop students into leaders to serve God and the church, the workplace, and the world. God bless you.